On a quiet residential street in Minneapolis, a confrontation between federal immigration agents and a woman in a maroon SUV ended in fatal gunfire, igniting protests, political backlash, and a federal investigation that continues to unfold. The incident occurred around 10:25 on Wednesday morning, drawing national attention after multiple videos circulated online showing the tense moments leading up to the shooting and the chaotic aftermath that followed. According to federal officials, the woman, later identified as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, was shot by a United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent during an encounter on Portland Avenue. Authorities said the agents were conducting operations as part of a wider federal crackdown on illegal immigration when they approached Good's vehicle, which was stopped in the middle of the roadway. Video footage posted by onlookers shows a maroon SUV blocking a residential street as a crowd lines the pavement nearby. Several people appear to be protesting in the area, while law enforcement vehicles are visible in the background. In the videos, ICE agents pull up behind the SUV, exit their truck, and begin shouting commands for the driver to get out of the vehicle. One agent is seen tugging on the driver's side door handle, while another positions himself near the front of the SUV. As the situation escalates, the vehicle begins to move forward. At that moment, an agent raises his firearm and points it toward the driver. At least 2 gunshots can be heard as the SUV attempts to drive away. Seconds later, the maroon vehicle veers out of control and crashes into a parked car along the street. The woman inside is fatally wounded. Emergency responders arrive shortly afterward, but she is pronounced dead at the scene, sending shockwaves through the neighborhood and across the city. Federal officials initially stated that the woman had tried to run over immigration agents with her vehicle, framing the shooting as an act of self-defense. In a statement released hours after the incident, authorities said the agent believed his life was in danger when the SUV moved toward him. However, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey strongly disputed that account. Speaking publicly, the Democratic mayor said the agent who fired the shots had acted recklessly. Using a profanity to emphasize his anger, Frey called on federal immigration agents to leave the city, arguing that their presence had escalated tensions and put lives at risk. The mayor's comments fueled an already heated debate over immigration enforcement tactics and the role of federal agents in local communities. Protests erupted overnight in Minneapolis, with demonstrators gathering near the site of the shooting and chanting against ICE operations in the city. As the demonstrations continued, hundreds of ICE agents were reportedly deployed to Minneapolis as part of the White House's broader immigration strategy. The increased federal presence drew criticism from local leaders and activists, who said it amounted to intimidation rather than public safety. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara provided additional details, saying the woman was blocking the roadway when she was approached on foot by a federal law enforcement officer. According to O'Hara, the woman then began to drive off, leading to the fatal confrontation. He emphasized that Minneapolis police officers were not involved in the shooting itself. The conflicting accounts have raised serious questions about what exactly happened in the moments before the shots were fired. From the available videos, it is not clear how close the agent was standing to the SUV or whether he was struck by the vehicle. The footage does not definitively show contact between the car and the agent before the gunfire. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has since taken over the case and confirmed that it is conducting a full investigation into the shooting. The FBI's involvement signals the seriousness of the incident and the need for an independent review of the agent's actions. Adding to the controversy, former President Donald Trump weighed in on the incident through a post on Truth Social. Trump claimed that an ICE officer had been viciously run over and said it was hard to believe the agent was alive, adding that the officer was now recovering in the hospital. Trump also blamed what he called the radical left for threatening and targeting law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. His comments further polarized public opinion, with supporters echoing his claims and critics accusing him of spreading unverified information. The identity of the woman, Renee Nicole Good, quickly became a focal point of the public conversation. A photograph shared from the Old Dominion University English Department's Facebook page showed her smiling, humanizing a figure who had suddenly become the center of a national debate. Friends and community members described Good as a complex individual whose life should not be reduced to the final moments captured on video. For many, her death highlighted broader concerns about the use of force by federal agents and the lack of transparency in immigration enforcement operations. Civil rights advocates called for accountability, demanding that the agent involved be placed on leave pending the outcome of the investigation. They also urged federal authorities to release all available body camera footage and internal communications related to the operation. Legal experts noted that cases involving federal agents can be particularly difficult to prosecute, as they often involve questions of jurisdiction, immunity, and use of force standards that differ from those applied to local police. Meanwhile, the neighborhood where the shooting occurred remained tense. Residents expressed fear and frustration, saying they never expected to witness such violence on their street in broad daylight. Some said the heavy law enforcement presence made them feel less safe, not more. Community leaders organized vigils in memory of Renee Nicole Good, lighting candles and calling for peace while demanding justice. Speakers at the gatherings emphasized the need for reforms and for clearer limits on how and where immigration enforcement actions are carried out. The incident has also reignited a national conversation about cooperation between local governments and federal immigration authorities. Minneapolis has positioned itself as a city that values immigrant communities, and city officials have repeatedly clashed with federal policies they view as aggressive or harmful. As the investigation continues, key questions remain unanswered. Did the agent reasonably fear for his life, or did he act too quickly in a volatile situation? Were there alternative ways to de-escalate the encounter without resorting to deadly force? And how should responsibility be assigned when federal operations intersect with local streets and civilians? For now, the FBI's findings will be crucial in determining what happens next. The results could lead to criminal charges, policy changes, or further deepen the divide between federal and local authorities. What is clear is that the death of Renee Nicole Good has left a lasting mark on Minneapolis. It has exposed deep divisions over immigration, policing, and accountability, and it has forced the city and the nation to confront difficult questions about power, safety, and human life. As protests continue and political leaders trade accusations, the videos of that Wednesday morning remain a stark reminder of how quickly routine enforcement actions can spiral into tragedy. For many watching across the country, the images have become a symbol of a system under strain and a call to re-examine the balance between law enforcement authority and the protection of civilian lives. The story is still developing, and investigators say it may take time before all the facts are known. Until now, Minneapolis waits, watches, and remembers, hoping that clarity, responsibility, and compassion will eventually rise from the confusion, ensuring that such a tragedy does not repeat itself again in communities across the country.